Hi, Timo here. Welcome to the basement in the Southern Virginia homestead. Today, I just want to go over what we did with the water heater. We got a tankless water heater, on-demand water heater. So I know I showed a video a long time ago when I first did this when we bought the house 2 years ago. I roughed in the PEX. I kind of completed things today, and I have not turned the water on yet. So I'm going to do that on camera. So if there's any leaks in what I did today, it'll show up. Just to give you guys a true overview, because if I messed up and did any mistakes, I want to show that too. So just to back up a little, what I did probably a year and a half or so ago, I built these two manifolds, one for the cold and one for the hot water. I got a few extra lines, which I probably should cap. They're each on their own valves, so I just got the valves off, but I want to do a hot and cold spigot in the back of the house, cold spigot in the front, and we're toying with the idea of putting an outdoor shower if we can find the right spot for it. So I got some extra lines for that. If I don't use them, I can just cap them off and that's fine. But the valves were $500 a piece, the manifolds, so I decided to make my own because I didn't want to spend $1,000 for manifolds. So what I did was, my instinct was to come up, dead end it, and have all the valves come laterally off. And I did a little research, and I turned to the source of all modern knowledge, YouTube, and it showed and explained, and like the light bulb went off in my head. It made complete sense to feed it and do it in a loop, because in a straight line, the one on the end would have diminished pressure. If the ones before it were running, there would be, it would take a little pressure in each one. By the time it got to the last one, it would be less pressure. By doing it this way, the water comes in and pressurizes it from both ends. So if you use the top, the furthest away one from the feed and the closest, they both get the same amount of pressure. So it was good that I did figure that out before I did it. But so basically just made my own PEX fittings. So like I said, the manifolds were $500 a piece. There's two of them, right? So I think it was like $10 per valve. So, and I've got extras, right? Like if I really figured it out, I could have saved money on valves. But even with all the extras, look at this hot water manifold. There's 4, 5, 6, 7 valves, so there's $70. There's probably $10 in fittings and very little in pipes. So I say under $100. I built the manifold. Like I said, now I've got an outdoor shower and an outdoor hot spigot. I probably could have eliminated one of those. I probably could have teed off and fed them both with one valve. I just want to have everything on its own valve, so a lot of this was for convenience. If I wanted to shave a little more of that money off, I probably could have. But so just to kind of show you why I did that. But last week, the gas company come out and they put on, I got a Navien, I think it's like 198,000, 99,000 BTU on-demand tankless water heater. And it has to be gas piped, in our case propane, and vented out. And that has to be done by a licensed contractor, otherwise it voids the warranty. Which is a little crazy, because who can't run a vent line for the exhaust? It's PVC. I mean, they could train a monkey to do it. Like if I could do this, valves, I could do that. But it would have voided the warranty, so I didn't do it. They had to come rerun some gas lines and put some regulators and change things around for other things that we're doing. So I had them install the water heater. And he did a nice job. They ran the gas line, he put a regulator here to keep the pressure, because it's a high, it's high BTU, so it needs a certain amount of volume of propane. And then he did the vent. Now if we look here at these are the flush out kits. Now this one's got a pressure relief, which I'm going to pipe it down, just whatever. But this is the hot water line, so it has its own shut off. So the cold water line has the same thing. So what this does is regularly, on a regular maintenance schedule, you'll get a 5-gallon bucket. I'll get a 5-gallon bucket and fill it with vinegar and water. The heat exchanger in here is stainless steel. And so what you do is you shut these valves off, open these valves up. And I just realized that this one's backwards. Ha! That one's right. That's going to be a challenge because if I put it the other way around, I'm going to have to figure that out. That's a mistake. Because if I shut the water off here and flush it here, it's going to go into the system, not into the heater. Mistake number one. There it is. You saw it online. So that's why, because I'm an amateur plumber and I don't know what I'm doing, I just made a mistake. So, easy fix. I'll cut this, flip it around, reinstall it. It'll be a 20-minute, half an hour fix. I've got to get some more fittings. I need some more like rings and different things. And actually, I don't have to do that now. I'm going to run it. I just only need to do that before I do the first flush. The system will operate with that backwards. I just won't be able to flush it. So let's look at this one. I'll kind of show it to you again. So when you put the stuff in the bucket, the vinegar and water, this valve shuts the supply off. Open this valve and you get a little pump and you pump it out. It'll go out through the heat exchanger and come out that side. And then you do that for so long. I got to read the book, whatever the interval is, and that will take away the scaling and the whatnot inside the stainless steel heat exchanger. So there's one mistake. Put that in backwards, and then maybe you'll see another one if we get some leaks. Stay tuned. But normally, for aesthetics wise, I would have liked to have put these cleanouts coming straight down out of the unit. And that would have avoided cutting that one in backwards too, by the way. But the unit was a little bit bigger, and he put that one, I asked him to put it as high as he could, and he could have went another couple inches. Here's the plate. But that probably still wouldn't have given me enough, because by the time I 90'd out, I would have been below the board. And I didn't want to redo these. So that's why I turned these. And that's perfectly fine. Like I said, it's kind of an aesthetics thing, but again, I'm not a professional plumber. As long as it works and it doesn't have any leaks, I'm satisfied with it, and I can live with it the way it looks. Of course, obviously, I do have to turn that valve around. So, I'm going to have my trusty camera woman keep her camera pointed on there. I'm going to go over and I'm going to turn the pump on, and we're going to deliver water to this for the first time. And then we're going to plug it in and see if we can go through the startup process. Stay tuned. Alright, there's water leaking right there. Alright, I'm going to shut it off. You can check it out. Alright, we're back. That was about 20-second fix. Of course, not without me getting soaked. But all it was when I put it together, I forgot to crimp one of the things. The water was shooting out. I took the crimpers, the PEX. It's very easy to work with. Boom, crimped it. Problem solved. Rookie mistake, both of them. So, you know, on one side of the coin, I feel like an idiot because both the mistakes are stupid and could have easily been avoided. On the other side of the coin, I'm kind of happy because they were very easy mistakes to fix. That one I fixed in 4 seconds. This one's going to take me closer to a half an hour. I'm not going to do it today. I'm going to get the water back on so we can resume our lives. And then at some point, it'll be probably almost, I think it recommends a year to do the flush. So I really don't have to even do that for a year. So probably what'll happen is I'll forget all about it and I'll come to flush it next year and realize, oh wait, I got to turn that around. And that's okay. So now I'm going to try to start it up. We're going to plug it in, and I'm going to unplug one of these things. The light, no I don't, I can go right in here. So, $120, we should hear it fire. We may have to expel some of the, the gas has to be turned on. I think, there it goes. Well, I believe that's fired. It's pretty quiet if it is. heat purged the air out of the line. And that should be it. Now I think it won't come on again until I call for hot water. So what I'm going to do, just to test this, is I'm going to pull this spare hot water line out. Maybe not. I like to do it without having to go upstairs, but I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to run this out, and I'm going to just shoot it outside, and we'll see if we hear that thing come on. Uncap it, figure out which line we're on here. This one. And I think I heard it start. So they say it should take up to 15 minutes. Get this over here so I don't flood the basement. Can you shut that valve off? And that's it, we got hot water, it's working. And now as soon as I shut it off, I think it just expels whatever fumes are in there, and it should shut off within a matter of minutes. I'm not sure exactly what the cycle is, but I don't think it'll take too long. Just make sure the valves are on. That's it. So that's it, pretty much. Once I read the book and figure this out, I'll see if there's anything to it. Maybe I'll make another video. I know mainly it's supposed to be very user-friendly, which is kind of why I liked it. So I know we can adjust the water temperature. That may be the only thing we really need to adjust. I kind of asked for it to be set up very simply because I don't want something that I have to keep tweaking, and most of them I think are now anyway. Like, we could have got an external circulator and all that, but for what we have here, we have a very small ranch, 880 square feet. We have, a dishwasher, which comes off the sink, so we have basically the sink, the washing machine, the shower, and the sink in the bathroom, and maybe those future things if I put the hot spigot, cold spigot, and the shower, whatever. So, we opted not to go for any of that stuff. I read up pretty extensively on it. I'm positive we don't need it, and I think 120 is the default setting. It's either the default setting or it's where the installer set it, because he said that was the most popular setting. So what we're going to do is we're going to use it for a week or so, and we're going to see. I think the old water heater right there was set on 125, 130. Now the thing with the old water heaters, with the tank water heater, which now this has to come out of here, but when you have it filled with hot water, and probably most of you know this, once the level starts dropping, the cold water starts refilling the tank. So as that water mixes together, it can change the temperature inside the tank. So I think it was turned up a little because of that. So we may even have to go to 115 or 112 or 110. We're going to just, like I said, play with it and see what we need to do. But I'm almost 100% sure that we will not need to go past 120. The dishwasher has a booster on it to heat the water up for it, because they like to have a little bit hotter water in the dishwasher. But as far as the sinks and the shower and the washing machine, I don't think we'll need anything above 120. And because this is a constant feed, it doesn't mix with any cold water. So if it goes out of there at 120, it should deliver it to fixtures at 120. Now, if you had a 5,000 square foot house and the basement was unheated or kept very cold in the winter, could that water theoretically cool down a few degrees? I guess, from a scientific engineering standpoint, if you looked at it in paper, maybe it could, but I don't think you'd ever notice it. And, it's 30 something feet from one side to the other here, so we're not going to have that problem. So I think that's it. It's shut off. I just heard it shut off. So obviously it's on some kind of cycle. I'm not sure. It just expels whatever, maybe propane that's left in there or whatever, or just has a cycle to run for so long. That's it. Leave it plugged in. It should pretty much operate on its own. This would have been a flawless installation, and I would be completely dry at this moment if I did not forget to crimp that valve, or that fitting. And if I had turned this in, then I wouldn't have had to admit on camera that I'm a giant knucklehead. But alas, that was not the case. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming along on our journey here. And stay tuned for more. God bless you.